guys, I've been meaning to start my channel and been hesitating because, as you can see, I don't have the tech down. I don't really know how to easily edit a video or upload it, so I've been hesitating, but I have a lot of thoughts, I have a lot of things to say. I think might be helpful to some of you. I'd love your comments, and so I'm like, I just need to get it out there, so I'm going to try to do one real quick here and at least get a start. So first thing I want to talk about that I think about a lot is people hesitate to buy an electric car because they're like, well, that's too out there. I'm going to have to change my whole life around. Don't you have to buy a charger in your garage and it costs thousands of dollars, and then all the things that can go wrong, like you run out of electricity or whatever. And I'm sure a lot of people that watch channels like this thinking about buying a Tesla or some other electric vehicle are curious about that. So at least you're thinking about it. That's good. But definitely one thought, and this didn't come to me for a while, and I looked at a lot of electric vehicles before I bought my Model 3. But there's a lot of good choices now, and I would say, I even considered some that went as little as like 75, 80 miles on a charge. But for my life, like, that would just about get me to work on a cold day just fine, so that was a necessity, of course. But then I'd probably have to charge while I was working for 8 hours. I usually get back about 25 to 28 miles doing that on just a regular outlet I have access to at work, and then I could make it back because it's more of a downhill on my drive back home. And so that would have worked out. I've been super cheap. There was used electric vehicles with that kind of range starting as low as like $7,000, and so that would have been a great option. But I would have been limited. I'd have to go straight home. Like if something came up, it might throw a wrench in things. So then I definitely started looking at the longer range ones, or the plug-in hybrids that you could depend on gas if you needed to in a pinch. But I didn't really want to go there, and just as some good options were coming out, the Chevy Bolt with a B was, I think, 230 miles range or so. There's a newer Nissan Leaf that has over 200 now, and of course the Model 3. And then there's used Teslas that have good range and things to consider. I also looked at the Chevy Volt that has the plug-in with the gas backup, and the BMW i3. So I'd recommend looking at all of those. You can pick the i3 up used. I was seeing as little as 15 grand for a used one with that backup generator that you could just keep filling up and go on forever. Anyway, and the new Volt 2016 and beyond will go 50-55 miles on a charge, and then you'll have the gas that you could just go forever. But I didn't really want to burn gas, but I could have. It wouldn't have been that bad of a decision, actually. But I figured I'd be going all electric eventually, and here was the Tesla sitting here that could do it all. So bottom line, that was that decision. But as far as one of the big concerns people have is, wow, if I do go on a road trip, that's going to take so much time to stop and charge and all that. And that was one of the reasons I went with the Tesla, because you probably have heard that there's a supercharging network, and it's even just recently got better with version 3, and that will charge your car in, they're saying 15 minutes. I would say probably 15 or 20. You could probably get a reasonable stop and then keep going another, I'm guessing, 150, 200 miles. And last I saw, superchargers are spaced out throughout the United States about 150 miles apart on average. So you would normally be able to keep going that way. And when you're charging any electric vehicle, really, like I think the fast chargers usually will charge your car fastest when you're really low, up to about 50 to 80%, somewhere in there. You get a lot of charge quickly, and then it slows down quite a bit to protect the battery. And that's how Teslas work. And so you're really, if you're smart, you're going to charge up to 80% and then keep on going if you're in a hurry. But if you're having dinner or something, you have plenty of time to hang out, you might go for 100% just to get some extra miles. But then it does take longer on a road trip. Version 3 will help that a lot, apparently. But it still takes longer than a quick stop at a gas station. But the funny thing is when I really thought about it, and this was after I owned my car, that it kind of had an epiphany, is that every morning you're waking up and your car is full. Like I don't charge to 100% because I don't need to, and to protect the battery, you'll want to charge to around 80%. 90 is okay, but 80, and then some say it's even better at 70. So if you don't need it, don't charge that much. I usually need somewhere around 70%. I use about 40% in my commute, and then I get home I still have 30%. So I'm also protecting the bottom edge of the battery charge by not going all the way to zero every time. So I'm try to keep it in the middle in that sweet spot. My understanding is that helps the battery longevity and keeps your range high for many years to come. And Teslas are known to have the best battery life so far. They don't have the degradation that some of the other brands do. But any EV you look at, you want to look for a battery that has a battery management system that keeps the temperature. It cools or warms the battery as needed. And the ones I mentioned earlier all have that. They all have excellent batteries. Best of the best is still thought to be Tesla. I don't think even the Fudsters would disagree with that statement. But anyway, so you're waking up every morning, and let's say you have, I guess I usually have 170 miles because I charged about 70% or so. And I can do my thing, get back. I have extra in case something comes up and I need to go downtown instead of straight home. And I have plenty to do all that if I need to. And every morning I wake up, when I get home, I plug in. It takes like 5 seconds. The plug's sitting right there next to my car. I pop it in. I go to bed. I set up my my charger to start at midnight because the rates are lowest. So you could do that as well. And then I never have to go to the gas station. So whatever car you're driving now that burns gas, think about all those trips you make throughout the year where you're going to the gas station, you're waiting in line sometimes, you're filling up. I mean, I don't know, I would guess that's at least a 10-minute endeavor if you're one of these guys that goes to Costco or whatever, makes a little bit longer trip to get the best deal on the gas. It might even take longer than that. Maybe it's a once-a-week thing for you, maybe less, maybe even more. But all those 10 or 15-minute intervals throughout the year, let's say you go 50 times. Think of all those minutes that you're now saving by using the electric car. So you save all that time, but then on a long trip, yeah, you take a little more time because your stops are a little longer. I've never really minded that. We've taken several long trips in our Teslas, and it's been great. And it's nice to have that kind of forced break sometimes to walk around a little. You can hang out with your kids, you can exercise, you can just see what's going on around that area and like just look a little deeper. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point that bottom line is you're probably overall saving time in your life by going with an electric car and taking a little longer on the road trips, but saving all that time throughout the year, not having to go to the gas station. How many road trips do you actually take that are more than the range of the electric car you're looking at, like 200 miles, a lot of them? How often do you go on a trip that's longer than that? How often do you go on a trip that you would only need to charge once to make it? I mean, for me, that's pretty rare. I mean, by the time you get past about a 500-mile trip, maybe, then a lot of times I'm thinking seriously about just flying instead. And then if you need a car, you rent it over there. Like, so think about that. Like, in my life, literally, I probably do that kind of a road trip 3 times a year. I kind of guessed it would have been 4, but when I ran the numbers, I'm like, I'm still saving time with the electric car. And it's even more convenient in that respect. And the one thing that people criticize electric cars with is the charging time, and you actually overall probably save time. So I just wanted to get that thought out there. I would love your guys' comments. That's one of the reasons I want to do this YouTube channel, to get my thoughts out there, hopefully educate some, but also to hear your thoughts and correct me if you think I'm wrong. All right, have a good one.